Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I said I'd do a Modern Masters 2017 Mythic review, and by God, I mean to do it. I was excited about this set because this is pretty much the time that I returned to the game, was the Innistrad, the Return to Ravnica blocks, and that's the main feature in Modern Masters 2017. Now, to help with the value points that I'm trying to make in this set, I'm going to be using prices from Channel Fireball, because I did research. I used Google a little bit, and I found out that the vast majority of Magic players online seem to be saying that Channel Fireball is on the higher end of prices. So I want to show you what some of these rares are worth and what I think about them. But when I go for a value point, I figure I may as well throw the highest possible number at you. You probably won't get this much for anything, but, you know, it's there. If you're looking for a value from this set, don't look at the Mythics, because, like, 5 of them are worth something and the rest of them really aren't. But let's get into that. And let's talk about their viability. Like, Entreat the Angels. This is a lovely reprint, because this sees a lot of value in Vintage, Legacy, and some variations of the Modern format. But it's more of a Vintage Legacy thing. Now, Miracle is neat, because it gives you a super powerful effect at a really cheap cost if it's the card you drew this turn. The first card you drew that turn. So you have to set it up. And Miracle seems to be a sub-theme in the draft format of this Modern Master set. But all the good Miracle cards are Mythic. So I don't even know how that's a viable format. And if you do make it a viable draft, like, structure, isn't it going to be overpowered since all the Miracle cards are, you know, amazing? Yeah, probably. So I think these are just here for Vintage players. Linvala, Keeper of Silence. I think this is a reprint that was needed. I think the Miracle reprints needed to happen too, but, like, I only think they needed to happen because if you don't reprint them, they're just going to go through the roof because they're Vintage cards. This one is actually effective at, like, a lot of different things. There's a lot of creatures in Modern that have activated abilities, which is an ability that activates when you do something to pay a cost to activate it. Yeah, this will stop them all. For 4 mana, you get a 3/4 flyer that shuts everything like that down. It's amazingly effective. And it's $25 on Channel Fireball. This needed a reprint. By the way, Entreat the Angels with $3.99. Here's one worth something. Snapcaster Mage. Oh, Snappy Cast. I love this guy. Because when I was playing during this time, I was either playing an Esper deck, or I was playing, like, a Naya aggro deck, usually. And Snappy, I grew to love Snappy very, very quickly. And I got 4 Snappies and I saved them away. And they're worth, according to Channel Fireball, $39.99 right now. And I mean, that's fine. That's an American, by the way. Probably should have covered that earlier. I'm terrible when it comes to structuring videos. But old Snappy here, he's being printed at Mythic for some reason. So his price isn't going to get affected all that much. And Snappy is a card that's viable in, like, any format he's legal in, because he makes all your instants or sorcery spells be able to be used twice. Surprisingly, an amazingly effective card. Really needed a reprint, and I'm really glad to see it. Don't know why it's Mythic. Here's another Mythic, and it's another Miracle card. This one I understand being Mythic, because this one is literally a time walk if you Miracle it. 2 mana, take another turn after this one. That's crazy strong. This card's actually worth something, too. This one's worth, like, $7 whole. So, I mean, if you open this, you're not getting hosed for your box too bad. If you're going to buy a box and you want value out of it, look to the uncommons and rares. That's where all the value is. Ah, Grizzy. Old Griselbrand. This guy, I love him in my Esper Modern Gifts deck. Because, you know, you use Unburial Rites and you revive something that you use Gifts Ungiven to dump to the graveyard. And very, very often it's Griselbrand that I pick. Because he's a 7/7 flying lifelink. And if you pay 7 life, that's an activated ability, by the way, you draw 7 cards. You refill your hand entirely. And then when you attack with him, you get all that life back. Now, his value is, you know, it's like $12, $13. It's not that great, but this is a super strong card. I mean, banded Commander for years, so, I mean, there you go. That should tell you how strong it is. This is the reprint everybody expected, and I think there was going to be mass riots at Wizards of the Coast if this wasn't in the set, because, by God, this card needs a reprint. It's not even that old. This is Liliana of the Veil, probably one of the strongest planeswalkers they've ever printed. 3 mana for a 3 loyalty planeswalker that makes everybody discard cards, or usually when you played her, I know when I had a set of 4 before I sold her for crazy money, because I'm not crazy, I'd usually just play her and -2 her and make the target player sacrifice a creature, because they'd usually have something with, like, hexproof, something I couldn't target. She'll get rid of it for you. If that ultimate goes off, you're just in great shape. But those first 2 abilities are usually what she's used for, and she is a beast. She's also like your second most expensive card in this set. The original version ever goes for about $80 now, US dollars. The Modern Masters version, this version you're looking at here, is about $10 less. Bonfire of the Damned. Now, I mentioned the Naya aggro decks that I like to play. They had board wipes in them, because you have to run board wipes to protect yourself usually, and this was the best one I had. I only had 2? I think I had 2 of these in my deck, and I still own those 2 cards to this day. They're worth $4.49. They're not worth anything, but very powerful card. Sorry. I have a really sore throat, so that might happen more than once. But it damages the player and all their creatures. This is also something I own 4 of. It's a Past in Flames, and this is worth nothing. Like, $2. If you get a foil of it, it's like $20, because every Storm deck in the world wants to run this. Because Storm, you want to cast as many spells as you possibly can to get a big Storm count and then cast a Storm spell. This lets you play everything in your graveyard a second time. And then, you know, that's huge. And then you can flash it back later and do it again. That's even huger. So, it's a very versatile card. It's just not worth anything, and I don't know what it's supposed to do in a draft format at Mythic. This guy in a draft format, however, I know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to win games by himself. This Craterhoof Behemoth. $17.99 as by the way, these prices are all as of March 6th. Commander staple. Elves love to run this guy as a finisher. He's so strong. Like, Wizards has printed a few versions of this guy since without reprinting this guy, and every version of this guy that wasn't this guy didn't go anywhere. Because, like, he gives them a huge power boost and trample, and he has haste himself. Like, it's ridiculous. This card really deserving of the reprint slot. It'll be so fun if you can draft this. Here's where your money is. This card varies in prices all over the board. Like, this version you're looking at right now, its pre-order price is $89.99. And then the other versions vary from $99.99 to $139.99. And you think, wow, that's expensive. Why is it that expensive? Because this card's insanely powerful. For 2 mana, it's often, you'll see it as like a 5/6. In, like, vintage formats, in modern formats, like like Abzan and John love to run this guy as, like, their big beater, because he's a big beater that costs very little to actually play him. Great choice for a Mythic. I think they have to print this in, like, every Modern Master set just to keep the price in control. This one puzzled me. I love this Planeswalker a lot. This is a Domri Raid. Came out of Gatecrash, I believe. Like, during my resurgence in this game, I use this one a lot in my Naya aggro deck. It's not worth anything, really. Like, you know, $4.50, $5. But very strong Planeswalker. Really confused why they reprinted it here. I thought, like, if they're going with the Ravnica block, at least Jace Architect of Thought sees play. This guy didn't really see play, even though this one's amazing. Now, in a draft format, oh yeah, green-red Gruul Stompy deck would just love this, because it just draws cards for you. Yeah, another Mythic that ain't really worth anything is Olivia Voldaren. In Standard, this thing was a powerhouse. And in Draft, this thing will be a powerhouse. I imagine, I haven't really seen this in Modern, but I'm not, like, a worldwide Modern player. I have no idea how often Modern uses this. But it's a very, very, very powerful top end to a curve. At 4 mana for a 3/3 flyer that can take control of other creatures and, like, makes herself bigger for a very minimal mana cost investment. I don't mind seeing her here. I like that they bumped down Falcon Wrath Aristocrat to rare to put her in the Mythic slot. Sphinx Rev. As I said, back in this phase of Standard, I was either playing Naya aggro or I was playing some kind of Esper Azorius deck. And Sphinx Rev was something I ran at least 3 of, and every color combination that had white and blue in it. Drawing cards is extremely powerful. Like, one of the most powerful effects in the game, especially when you can do it at instant speed, like, as in during your opponent's turn. But the real kicker to this card is that you also gain that much life, keeping you in the game. By the time you cast this for a fair amount, you might have taken some damage, and this will put you right back to full coffers, ready to take control and knock some faces. About 450. Not an expensive mythic, but a great one. If you ever seen a foil of Voice of Resurgence, it is beautiful. It is a beautiful card. Like, I got into Magic way back in the day in 94 for the art. It was cards like this. Like, they didn't make art like this back then. This is, like, digitally made, I think. But it was the art that drew me to it. And this is very striking. This is also about $15. It's, you know, it used to be like 60. It's because Voice of Resurgence is in a weird spot. It's in the 2-drop spot. And as they continue to print 2-drops that are as good or better, this will lose value. But this is a fantastically powerful card, and if you pull it, do not be sad. Here's the reprint this game is needed, like, for so long. There's no reason Cavern of Souls should be $45. Like, none. They even bumped this up to Mythic just to keep that price check where it is, which I don't agree with. I think this should have been bumped back down to rare, because I have 4 of these, and I'm saying this because this is a great card for Commander. This is a great card for any kind of tribal theme. This is just a great card that I would like to be in the hands of all players. I don't know why they waited so long to reprint this. They've had so many Commander themes that could have used this. It's just, it blows my mind. I imagine it's a business move. Let it accumulate in value, use it in a set that needs it to pump the value up. I get it. I just think that's shit for players, and I think it's a shitty thing to do. But they finally made it right, and they reprinted it. That's how I feel about all the mythics in this set. If you're looking to buy these boxes to flip them for value, please make sure that you focus on the rares and the uncommons. There are some bombs when it comes to Mythic, but there's also bombs, if you know what I mean. Like, comment, subscribe, upvote, and follow, and all that wonderful stuff if you enjoy these. Please, I love comments. Let me know. Until next time, this is Daddy saying bye-bye!